Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Top Decked, and we'll take a look at them after round 1. So in my Top Decked videos, I always get to play whatever I want, and I found a really intriguing version of Madness. And there's one thing that I love about this deck list, and there's one thing that I am super scared about with this deck list, and so I figured that means that I need to play this. So in case you haven't seen any of my other Madness videos, the general idea is that you are trying to get a lot of value out of discarding your own cards, and creatures like Blazing Root Walla and Basking Root Walla can get into play for free. And you can kind of use Lion's Eye Diamond like a better Black Lotus to discard your cards, cast them for free, and then have mana left over to do things like cast an Anji's Ravager or activate these Root Wallas. Now, what makes this specific version unique is that it is playing Cabal Initiate. This is a 2/1 base for 1 and a black, but if you have Threshold, it becomes a 3/3. And if you discard a card, this gets lifelink. Now, this at a glance does not look like a card that is on rate for Legacy, but this deck is very, very happy to play Putrid Imp and almost wants to be playing more Putrid Imps than just 5, because just having that persistent discard is good. And if you've seen me play this deck before, or you've played this deck yourself, you know Threshold is actually pretty obtainable. So if we treat this as a 2-mana, 3/3 lifelinker, that starts to look more attractive. And if we keep in mind that this is going to fuel shenanigans like, returning Vengevines, or that it's going to allow us to play Kitchen Imp for a single black mana consistently, this card starts to look pretty darn good. And this is the thing that I really liked about this deck. I pulled this deck list from the most recent 5.0 deck list dump, by the way. I want to say that the user's name was Ella1, but I didn't double check before I started recording. Now, the thing that I'm a little nervous about is Big Game Hunter. So this is a card that also has Madness, and when it ETBs, you can destroy target... Well, no. You destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It can't be regenerated. So if you have something like an Ox of Agonas or a Hogak, this does not actually let you not destroy them. So this is obligatory destruction. Now, why is this deck running this card if it can sometimes kill our own stuff? Well, the answer is Murktide Region is kind of a butthole, right? Like, that card is absolutely everywhere right now in Legacy. It is one of the absolute premium threats of the format, and it's something that actually can keep pace with the damage that this deck can do. The Madness or Madvine deck just has so much raw damage output that it can often kill in 2 or 3 turns, which is something that most Legacy decks can't do. But Murktide Regent, well, you don't give a fuck. It will just kill you. And so I can understand wanting to have some ways to just say no to that problem, and there's even, in fact, a second one in the sideboard for that reason. Now, normally this deck is a Jund deck, at least as of right now, but if you look real carefully at the mana base, you will see that there is a single plateau. That single plateau allows you to cast Deafening Silence. Now, previously with this deck, I have been of the opinion that you're probably not supposed to run things like Mindbreak Trap because they just allow you to go, like, they just dilute your deck, and your plan against combo a lot of times is just get them dead. But if you have something that you can cast for a single mana instead, I can see doing that. I am a little on the fence about this idea because, just to read this, each player can't cast more than one non-creature spell each turn. So you are going to run into some situations where you have like a Gamble and a Faithless Looting, or a Faithless Looting and LED, where you can't do the things that you want. But since this says non-creature, you can still go like, Putrid Imp, discard 2 Root Wallas, return a Vengevine. That sort of thing is still viable. But while it can run into some weird situations where you shut off your own stuff, the big things that you want to do involve casting multiple creatures. And otherwise, we just kind of have the normal assortment of things that you're used to seeing in these sideboards. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into things. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content on the regular. Shooting to get to 10,000 followers by the end of the year, or I guess our subscribers on YouTube. And if you want to try out this deck or you want to get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is in the video description. Throw me a like. It's the easiest way to support your content creator friends for free. All right, our opening hand for round 1 isn't particularly good. I can play turn 2 Cabal Initiate and discard a Vengevine, but I can't really bring it back the following turn, and I can't take advantage of these Anji's Ravagers super early. I think I can find a more explosive hand pretty easily. This is a weird one. Am I on the play or the draw? I'm on the draw. If I draw like a Vengevine or a Gamble, this hand will get pretty insane. Otherwise, I just make 4 creatures on turn 1, which is probably honestly just good enough. I think I'm going to keep this and junk the Cabal Initiate. It's just like lets me make my first 2 land drops so that I can double pump these Blazing Root Wallas. And I'll just be attacking for 3, 6, 7, 8 damage on turn 2. Seems aight. Okay, we are going to have... If my opponent were to name Wooded Foothills in the Dark, I would quit Magic the Gathering right now. They're probably going to name Wasteland in the Dark. Yep, there we go. Don't have to quit Magic, luckily. This doesn't really do anything here, but it'll be nice if I draw like an Anji's Ravager. Alright, so we need to fetch a black-red source. Go Putrid Imp. And I can safely do all of this stuff later, and I don't think I need to show the LED right now. Okay, that's fine. Let's do the discard dance. So I will get creature 1. I will get creature 2. I will get creature 3. And now I will pick up 3 instances of flying on Putrid Imp. You know, it's relevant for reasons. Hello. All right. Yeah, this is fine. All right, so let's go ahead and fetch. Pick up a Taiga here. Play an LED. Cast a Gamble. I tapped the wrong land for Gamble. It's fine. All right. Crack for red, red, red. Oh no, I didn't. I counted my mana right before. All right. We attack for 8 on turn 2. We'll be attacking for 11 on turn 3 and drawing 3 cards. Pretty decent. If I draw an LED, I have lethal next turn. There is a world where I could die to like a double crop rotation. Okay, that's fine. So this can represent like a tabernacle potentially. I don't super think is a problem. Yeah, we're fine with just discarding that. Although I will discard it using Putrid Imp to give this flying. Chip in. Now, sneaky here, I can buff Putrid Imp. Oh. Yeah, okay, so if my opponent doesn't block, they're dead. So that's a red. That's a red. So this is 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Now I will discard this. Pass with Madness. That's 5 cards in graveyard. There's 6 cards in graveyard. There's 7 cards in graveyard. We won't cast that. That gives Putrid Imp +1/+1, and that kills my opponent. So the block was obligatory there. But I do not blame my opponent for missing that line. That one's kind of intricate. So we were playing against some sort of depths deck. We're not super good at removing Merit Lodge, but we're pretty good at just killing. My strategy against the Merit Lodge decks has just been kill them before they do their thing. I will probably play Firestorm. It allows me to remove early Elvish Reclaimers while also just like giving me a little bit of reach and just giving me one more way to dump my hand. Now, Big Game Hunter kills things with power 4 or greater, but Merit Lodge is indestructible. So we are probably going to remove this for the first Firestorm. And what do I want for the other Firestorms? Like, I can trim Once Upon a Time. I can trim the Hogax. Because I just like prefer to be turning my creature sideways. But when my opponent's on the play, they can play early Elvish Reclaimers that can just like get in my way. I guess that's what the Firestorms are for. I think I want to be able to gamble for Ox. Not having played this version before, I'm not sure how essential the Hogax are. Like this version, for example, is not playing Hollow Ones, which is normally typical of a deck like this. So I think it's fine, like, with the kitchen imps giving me additional, like, flying bodies. That's another thing I can gamble for. Let's try this and see how it feels without those. I expect to lose game 2 here when my opponent is on the play, and then I think we've got a pretty even shot in game 3. To beat the Merit Lodge decks, you need to play some stuff that's, like, kind of... I don't want to say bad, but kind of narrow. So if this Once Upon a Time hits exactly Putrid Imp, this hand is bananas. And otherwise, this hand is pretty suboptimal. My opponent kept on 7, so I think I'm going to go ahead and fish a little harder here. Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to keep this. This hand is going to cast a Once Upon a Time, try to find a red land, play LED, gamble for Anji's Ravager, play double Anji's Ravager. Yeah, this is very good. This is very good. I think I junk the Firestorm here. Since I'm going all in on these Lion's Eye Diamonds, it's pretty unlikely. Yeah, that's not going to matter this game. Well, I mean, like, it might be relevant, but I am on the draw 6 cards a turn, be attacking for 6 on turn 2 plan. All right. We can both start our story the same way. Elvish Spirit Guide. That's a scary card. Like, that means my opponent didn't need to just take a land, so they have some lands in hand already, and that means that they can go off 1 turn earlier than normal. Okay. Feeling the graveyard love here. Statement made. Oh. Okay. Sure. Tabernacle could be a problem. Alright. Let's kind of see how things go here. So, step 1 is, do I find my red land? Ah! No, I didn't. Figured looking at 6 cards would hit me a land the vast majority of the time. So fucked. Oh man, this is bad. If my opponent has Tabernacle in their deck. If they don't have Tabernacle, I'm okay. If they do have Tabernacle, I'm not gonna say I'm dead, but life's bad. I think I keep... I think I don't take Kitchen Imp. It does fly, though. It's like the question of, like, do I want to keep the LED for next turn when Anji's Ravager gets to attack? I think I do. I'm gonna take a Blazing Root Walla. And I'll cast both Lion's Eye Diamonds now. And we'll pass the turn, and I'll Anji's Ravager and Blazing Root Walla on my opponent's end step. Okay. Use your mana for something. make me less scared. Man, Firestorm is looking so good, but I think I basically have to. Oh my god, come in. Fucking come at me, bro. Do it. Do it. Alright, they did not do it. Alright. Discard. Cast Anji's Ravager. And Blazing Root Walla. Alright, this Madvine is not doing a lot. By a lot, I mean literally anything. Just this will come in. I'll take my Ancestral. Alright, my opponent does not trade away everything. Alright, I have made my land drop. Red-black? I need the red for pumping this. Putrid Imp and Kitchen Imp are flyers and require black mana. Yeah. Then let's try to turn this into something more interesting. Didn't super succeed. Will I use my mana to cast a Putrid Imp next turn? Or would I rather have a guaranteed land drop? It is the worst land in my deck for this game. I think I'll find better uses for my mana. Yeah. Alright, Bob reveals Verdant Catacombs. And I can't overstate enough how rough it was that I missed on a land drop in the top 6 cards of my library. They either could have, like, double Ravager, or this Elvish Reclaimer could be dead. I would have gotten in more points of damage already. Alright. I think this Anji's Ravager unfortunately needs to just attack in and draw me 3 more cards if I'm going to have a realistic shot at winning this game. But this thing can fetch and then activate, and then I lose this Ravager. But I just don't think I am going to win this game if I just sit here. I am an aggro deck in the, like, absolute purest sense of the word. And the longer I wait, the easier a time my opponent will have in just creating a 20/20 that will just kill me. Pass this. Ooh, okay, my opponent is just gonna take it. Alright, what does the rest of my turn look like then? So I could gamble for Firestorm and have a 50% chance of being able to like ping my opponent's creatures down. Or I could just get another Anji's Ravager. 1 red for gamble. My colors are weird here. In terms of like casting Kitchen Imp and Anji's Ravager, because I need to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond for red, red, red. I need this black, which means that this has to cast Gamble, so even though I have 1 extra red mana, I can't funnel it into here successfully. This has been a rather complicated game. Also a game that shows you, like, Leyline of the Void is a hate card against this deck, but it does not stop the deck from doing a lot of its primary things. Okay, look, oh. So, my opponent was thinking about activating an Elvish Reclaimer there, and then thought better of it. Alright, so now I need to hold priority, cast Gamble, crack LED for red, red, red. I'll cast my Kitchen Imp. Means I'm not dead to a single Merit Lodge hit unless Sajiri Step also gets involved. Now I will go ahead and gamble for another Anji's Ravager, which gets auto-discarded since my hand is empty. And I will cast it. So there's theoretically 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage coming in next turn. My opponent's at 12, maybe soon to be 11, maybe soon to be closer to 10. But my opponent can just assemble the combo over a couple of turns here. So things are a little spooky for me here. Who knows, maybe my opponent will hit something crazy here. Yeah, Force of Vigor. Take a bunch of damage, and then it's realistic for me to get lethal next turn. Okay, just a snow-covered swamp revealed here. I think I needed some amount of real damage there from that Bob to be able to get lethal next turn, because my opponent can like successfully block with this, jump block with this. And then even if I draw a land, I'm only getting 3, 6, 7, 8 damage in. Ooh, okay. That's rough. My Anji's Ravagers are also obligated to attack. That's non-negotiable. The Kitchen Imp has to stay back. If I attack with the Root Wallers, I have to attack with both, because otherwise Hexmage just like gets one of them. Next turn, the Hexmage won't be there in all likelihood. I think I am not going to attack with the Root Wallers this turn. I'm going to attack in with both Ravagers. Alright, we get the first set of draw 3s. Okay, I get nothing out of this set. Oh, that's actually quite good. I will let my opponent go to blocks. I will probably block with Elvish Reclaimer here. And Vampire... Oh, they're not going to block with... Yeah. Seemed free to block with Vampire Hexmage and then sacrifice to create Dark Depths. But my opponent might be playing around a sorcery speed answer to my bullshit. Yeah, my opponent did not play around Firestorm by making this block, which is really good for me. I think they're supposed to just, like, take the 6 to the dome, and then that guarantees that they can have Elvish Reclaimer around to activate and search for a Sajiri Step next turn. Oh, this is fine. So I want to discard 2 cards here to finish off Elvish Reclaimer and probably kill their Dark Confidant. Because Dark Confidant will be worth 3 life next turn, whereas Firestorm to the face is only 2 damage. Alright. For the record, I would just like to say that I fucking love this deck. Oh my gosh. This is just like great and super interesting gameplay. I have so many moving parts. The hate cards like change my lines but don't totally cripple me. Like, my opponent has made a 20/20 and I am not just like dead on board. That's super cool. My opponent is currently dead on board, in fact. Like, they block with this, and I have 8 incoming damage, or they can force an attack in, and I have 9 damage. They would need another creature here. Yeah, so you need to have a blocker or you are dead on board. Oh no. Oh no. That is going to choose Lizard, and even if I pump this, it will die. So no need to fetch here. That is the worst possible creature they could have had. Alright. I think we're gonna fold to that hate card here. First hate card, no big deal. Second hate card, a little rough. Yeah, Guess let's pull a Taiga out of the deck, because I know I'm going to want one of those no matter what. Alright, still have outs. I can draw a flyer to jump block for another turn, but unfortunately, I'm going to trade for this Plague Engineer here. I can once upon a time into Putrid Imp. I'm still on outs. Alright, trade these. Come on, Putrid Imp. Damn it, Putrid Imp. No. Now I am dead. I can go ahead and concede here. And we're gonna have to go to a game 3. What a match to start things off here. Okay. So I know my opponent has like Dark Confidants and Plague Engineers, but I don't have any more small removal that I can build, that I can bring in. So knowing that my opponent has Plague Engineer, that means that my Hogak becomes slightly more valuable because it's something that can just like crash in for a lot of damage through one of those. Do I want that when I am on the play? It's a little bit less valuable since I know my opponent is playing Leylines, so I think I'm going to leave that in the board. But it is a real question. I think the Ox is better than the Hogak, like because the Ox has a lot of lines involving Lion's Eye Diamond that are really good. Here we go. All right, if I find a land, this hand is not acceptable still. I'm gonna mulligan this one. What does this hand do? This hand can play a Putrid Imp or a Gamble on turn 1. If I gamble, I can gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond and put an Anji's Ravager into play on turn 1. Or alternatively, that's a little risky. Or alternatively, I can fetch, play Putrid Imp on 1, then gamble on turn 2. The turn 1 Anji's Ravager is really tempting because my opponent's not super great at just taking it out of the way immediately. It's really hard to just turn down the Ancestral every turn. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this hand and bin Faithless Looting. Now this hand can just fall apart due to its own variance here, unfortunately. Just if I discard the wrong thing with Gamble. But the upside here is just so insanely high. I think this is more stable than going to 5. It's a little close, but I think it's more stable. Basically, unless I discard exactly the Anji's Ravager, I am going to be in a salvageable position. I think I want bad lands. There's an argument for Bayou. Or no, there's not an argument for Bayou, because I want to gamble this turn. Alright. See how it goes. LED. Alright, we discarded the LED. We're in a salvageable position because I can still just like use Putrid Imp to cheat Anji's Ravager into play, but my hand has become less explosive, considerably less explosive at that. All right, let's see what you find with this. A Dark Depths, sure. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna get turn 2'd. My opponent's just gonna play Urborg into Vampire Hexmage, and I'm going to die. Fuck. There's not really anything I can do about that. That would have beaten even my best hands anyway. Okay. All right. Let's see if my prediction is correct. Yep. Yep. Distance is pain. So I'm going to, on my opponent's turn, discard Kitchen Imp, and then I can block with Kitchen Imp. That buys me a turn. And then if I draw a land, I can work on getting an Anji's Ravager into play, using that to draw 3, and then continuously block every turn for the rest of the game while also somehow killing my opponent. It's not likely that I can win here, but I can still win. It is still possible. Okay. Alright, so here's Merit Lodge. Oh no. I'm about to get Abrupt Decayed. Or it could be Sajuri's Step, and protection from black beats me. Okay. So I will discard Kitchen Imp and cast it. So I will have a chump blocker. Am I supposed to discard these cards? No, there's like some Faithless Looting lines where I might want to have them in hand still. I don't think I'm. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I could have 7 of the 8 in graveyard for this. No, I still don't think it's correct. All right. Life's bad. Not sure how I wiggle out from here. It's not that stuff. I will concede. What a great match, though. GG's. Hey, folks. Phil Gallagher here to show off one of the features of Top Decked. So this is my current sponsor, and I want to show off their deck search feature. So sometimes you might be playing in a league, and you see some deck that you're not familiar with. So let's say you see a deck with a Murktide Regent, and you also see a deck with Urza's Saga, and you don't know what's going on with that. You can go ahead and click these cards, and it will give you decks that match what you're talking about. So we can specifically set it for Legacy, and then you can kind of go and find a handful of decks that fit the metrics you're looking for. So every once in a while, you'll see me stumped and go, I don't know what deck I'm playing. If I wasn't just recording, I might think about doing this. So consider checking out Top Deck if this is of interest to you. All right, I've kept my opening hand here. As of right now, I have turn one. I have turn one Anji's Ravager, plus some other stuff. Okay, so let's cast this Once Upon a Time. I guess the dream is another Anji's Ravager. Another Kitchen Imp? Or do I want Putrid Imp? Crack both LEDs this turn. Attack with double Kitchen Imp, have Anji's Ravager in the hole, and have an uncracked fetch land so I can keep my colors. Or have a Putrid Imp in play. I think I'll take the immediate damage. I'm already going to have a discard outlet. Alright, so fetch land, LED, LED. Crack this one for red. Crack this one for black. And I'll cast 3 creatures. Okay. Not a bad turn 1. Alright, that is a force pitching a dress down. I kind of think my opponent fucked up their turn, honestly. I think against this deck, you are really supposed to be Force of Willing Lion's Eye Diamond. I admittedly had a second here, but my turn would have been much worse if my opponent had junked one of those LEDs. Like, LED is the card that you do not let resolve. But, like, I 100% don't know, like, what my opponent's strategy is. The triomes are a little weird, and can indicate a couple of different things. Sure. All right, my opponent's down to 12. And I've got a real choice about what this gets. I think I want Taiga, so that I can cast either Lizard that I draw afterwards, and I can also cast a Gamble. Sure. Alright, didn't get Terminus, which is good. Okay, so we are playing against essentially a slow blue control deck that has inevitability via Field of the Dead and maybe Life from the Loam as well. There was no shuffle with the Ponder. Game is tilting in my opponent's favor pretty quickly. Yeah. That's the sort of thing I was afraid of here. 7 cards in graveyard. We're not quite to Ox party time yet. The good news here is that, like, since my opponent has a Field of the Dead and now a Caracas, those lands don't contribute to Uro coming back immediately. The bad news is, like, once that Uro comes back, I am not going to be particularly good at beating it. Alright. Okay. We might luck out. Seems like it's another prismatic ending. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Oh, shit. The Shark Typhoon. Yeah. I'm probably dead now. Like, I trade this body away. I'm not pressuring my opponent. They're going to get an Uro. I'll play it out here for a couple of turns, but, like, Needle is fully pointing towards my opponent here. Yep, alright, there's the Life from the Loam. And that means my opponent just has Uro next turn. Yeah, I have 3 blanks in hand currently. There's a world where this Hogak can allow me to beat the Uro, but, like, my opponent's Caracas, I think, means that's not realistic. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and scoop up here. With the Graveyard Garden and me having, like, 2 graveyard dependent things, like, it's just not happening. So I don't have anything like Blasts to get rid of an Uro. I think I am probably going to need to leyline my opponent. I'm not, like, super excited to do so. I probably need some combination of, like, leylines and big game hunters in order to, like, realistically have a chance at stopping that. Without Hollow One starts, I'm not sure that I actually just have enough aggression to go under my opponent consistently. My opponent also has access to Caracas, so the Hogak becomes worse. Let's see if I can board 5 cards somewhat easily. Like, how heavily am I supposed to try to dodge Endurance? Am I supposed to dodge hard enough that, like, I cut the Ox too? Or am I supposed to just, like, YOLO it on the game where I'm on the play and hope that I can kill them before Uro? Maybe I need a YOLO on the play and be more conservative on the draw. I'll buy that. Single red mana here means that this isn't keepable. It might be keepable if this was a Badlands. Alright, Future Damp, LED, discard Vengevine, discard Kitchen Amp, be attacking in for 6 on turn 1. Yeah, this is a very aggressive hand. I will keep this. It is a little all in, and if we were to encounter a sweeper like a Terminus or a Supreme Verdict, I would instantly lose. And there's some other things that are bad for me too. But let's see how it goes. LED. Okay. Discard Vengevine. Crack this for Ripple Black. And see if I get Enduranced. Ah, shit. Ew. Alright. Yeah, I'll still use Vengevine's ability. Yeah, but like now I just have 3 power in play on turn 1 and I'm out of gas. We've lost this one. Especially if I just get like Source of Plowshares or Prismatic Ending in the next turn cycle. Yep. You know, I'll discard this and leave it there as some. I don't want to call it inevitability, as some way to hedge against future things. In good news, my opponent's mana is quite bad right now. In bad news, everything else. Okay. Snapcaster Swords is horrific for me because it represents like the board being clear, and it also represents my opponent like being able to start pressuring my life total instead. This one's going to be over very quickly. Yep. I'm really hoping to spike either Putrid Imp or the 2-mana pseudo Putrid Imp. I'm going to save this and try to return Vengevine because I don't think I can win without returning the Vengevine. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Alright. This may just be a game where I put the opponent to the test, like, do you have an answer on turn 1? And they said yes, so I didn't win. Excellent. So let's fetch a Taiga. No, a Taiga's fine. Give myself the full variety here. Leaving Bayou open. My first creature for turn. We'll discard the Kitchen Imp. Will be my second creature for turn. We'll return this Vengevine. Yes. Okay, it looks like some things are actually going right. And I get lifelink. Looks like my opponent has like another Swords of Plowshares or equivalent for this Vengevine. Okay. That could be Terminus. A lot of these sorts of decks have been going down on that effect, though. Okay. So no Terminus. Seems weird that if they had the ability to brainstorm, they would not just brainstorm. Oh. I see. I'm going to lose my haste here. Yeah, that's annoying. That dress down just cantripped and saved my opponent 6 life. That's a good one. Okay. So I can end of turn Basking Root Walla. But I think this one's over. Like, with Field of the Dead in play now. Yeah, and now I won't get to ever trigger a Vengevine again. Yeah, I'm gonna take that hit. I think I'm conceding here. I don't know, like, how I beat that Field of the Dead realistically. That's a way. Alright, I'm in for 2. Opponent goes down to 10. And cast this that gives me a lot more options. Like, maybe I can get this thing to have lifelink. Oh, God damn it. It is in there. Yeah. That's obviously quite devastating. Alright, my opponent has 4 power to my 0 power. I think we're done, but I'm going to die quickly enough that I will just play it out for another turn cycle. Because like some crazy things can happen with Anji's Ravager, or I could just draw Anyway, GG's. Okay, I think this opening hand is really close, but not quite there. It's somewhat reliant on hitting very well with Once Upon a Time. I think I'd rather just mulligan. No discard outlet here. But with Once Upon a Time hitting a discard outlet, I have discard outlet, Basking Root, Walla, Madvine attacking on turn 1 much more consistently than with the last hand. I will keep this hand. And I'll pitch the Ox. It's likely to be the least useful thing in this hand. A real chance that I'm supposed to cast this Once Upon a Time before my opponent has the opportunity to like play Volcanic Island into Daze. Never mind. We're good. We're playing against Death and Taxes or some sort of weird prison deck. Alright, let's hit my discard outlet so I don't kill myself. Fuck! Honestly, it's fine as long as I don't get wastelanded. I just get to play double... I can't get this fucker into the graveyard now! Alright. Operation Bad Aggro is a go. Yep. Yeah, this is rough now. I had 5 looks at 6 hits plus a draw step. No, this one. For like Thalia-based reasons. Also a world where I fetch wrong, depending on what I draw next turn. Okay. Alright, we are indeed in the category of weird prison-y deck. Okay. Chalice on 0 doesn't stop these. It's still a CMC 1 card, even though I'm paying 0 mana for it. Gamble LED. And as long as I don't discard the LED, I will produce Kitchen Imp and Vengevine this turn. Would only have a 1 in 6 chance of discarding that. That's fine to me. Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, did not discard that. Fantastic. Let's go land. Oh shit, it stops my LED. Fuck, I'm an idiot. I was so focused on this not mattering that I just made a completely boneheaded play. Alright, I just punted this game. Absolutely just punted this game. Oh, that's frustrating. Because now the soldier gets in when, like, I could have stopped the soldier from getting in. Alright, we'll see if I can salvage this. That was super bad. That is one of the worst on-camera mistakes I've made in a long time. Okay. Madness is not an activated ability, right? I know. I might... This is an activated ability, though. I might be able to just go bigger than my opponent. Yeah, it's still possible that, like, if my opponent just doesn't have a plethora of soldiers and they just kind of, like, do the prison thing where they run out of gas, that I can still just salvage this one. That's pretty bad. Still salvageable, though. Yeah. Alright. 1 red mana. 2 red mana. Yes. Do I want to become the Monarch? Yes. Alright. I picked up a land drop. So my plan is to like take some more damage here, potentially become the Monarch, and then like put a Hogak into play that my opponent can't really deal with. I'll have 5 cards in graveyard once I fetch, and I will have 2 green creatures. Alright. Okay, Recruiter. What's that going to get? Another Palace Jailer? A Solitude. Not a Soldier. That's cheating. Might need to trade with a Recruiter here. Take 6 damage, go to 3. Fetch, go to 2. It's weird because... It's like I'm going to use 2 of these bodies to get the Hogak into play. My life total is scary low. I think the Solitude means I'm just going to die either way. I punted this game so bad. So winnable. Alright. I need to fetch now. Oh, fuck. Fuck! Can't. Faithless Looting to discard Kitchen Imp and play Kitchen Imp. Because of the suppression fields. Alright, I can hit a 0 drop here. Okay. Guard a Vengevine. Cast a Blazing Root Walla. Cast. Now, I can cast a Hogak, which returns a Vengevine. Alright, I am at 3 life. I potentially have lethal on my following turn because of the trample. But my opponent has a Solitude, so it's actually somewhat unlikely that that will actually occur. Like, they would have to just, like, not have white cards in hand. My activated abilities of my lizards also just, like, aren't viable currently. This should mean that I'm dead, because they will just put that on, like, elemental or whatever. Or, okay, so they just have... Oh, okay, so they're gonna go that route. They hit another enlistment officer. They just, like, take a root Walla out of the way and kill me, rather than, like, taking a Hogak out of the way. Yeah. That puts me to 4, which means that 2 idiots getting through kills me. Yeah. Alright, Athalia Heretic Cathar gets in. Alright, so I block 3 of these, and then I take 4 damage and die. Yeah, I totally punted this one with that LED play. This was... Oh, it was so winnable. Alright, I will play Firestorm. I do not want Big Game Hunter. Ancient Grudge is playable. I don't know if necessary. Like, I don't know if having Ancient Grudge in my deck is better than just, like, the game 1 stuff. It can stop Chalices and maybe some other cards that my opponent plays. I don't think I'm going to board those, though. There's a very real chance that I get leylined by this opponent. I think I'm just going to trim a little bit of stuff that is graveyard relevant. Like, maybe trim 1 Ox and, like, 1 Gamble or something. Or 1 Hogak. I think I like the Hogak, so, like, the first strike is very real. Could also just trim 1 Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time has betrayed me a handful of times tonight already. I'm good with that. Turn 1 Putrid Imp and Basking Root Walla. Turn 2 Double Kitchen Imp. No, actually, this hand does not produce black mana, so I have to use Once Upon a Time to get black mana, in which case this hand sucks. Mulligan. How much do I believe in Faithless Looting is the question with this hand. Is this better than 5? Maybe. It has the potential to be absolutely busted. Got card density. Has the ability to cast a fast-ish Hogak if things go wrong. I guess I will keep this. Alright. I'm going to play out the LED. I'm going to fetch... it's a very difficult choice for what land to get here. I think it just has to be Badlands, though. Let's loot. Gamble. Alright, if I put both of these in play, I can have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in graveyard. Let's recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in graveyard and cast a Hogak. Yes, and I can cast this from the graveyard. Okay. Cast my imp. I'll cast this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. I've made a respectable amount of power on turn 1. I have 11 power. I have 13 if I draw a green source. Okay. Sure. Battle. Am I going to get solituded? I am not. Yeah, I mean, this is part of the reason why I said that fetch on turn 1 was hard. I play towards, like, being able to, like, activate this or play another Basking Root, or I play towards being able to cast future, like, Faithless Looting, plus the other discard outlets. Okay, on the draw, do I want to be able to answer Chalice on 0 for LED? Still don't know that the answer is yes. But I do want to be able to answer a Chalice on 1 on the draw. I think these come in on the draw. I'm going to go down, like, some Cabal Initiates and some Once Upon a Times. I don't know, the Cabal Initiates might be more important than they normally might be because of the Kitchen Imps. I don't interact with whatever my opponent does to me, but this hand can go broken a lot of different ways. I think I keep this. Right, my opponent has gone to 5. I will say that Leyline would be relatively good versus the hand that I currently have, which is often not the case with this deck. I'm most scared of, like, a Leyline plus Chalice opener. Okay, we dodged Leyline. That's the good news. That's the bad news. Oh, fuck me. Well... There's a play here. And the play here involves me thinking that my opponent cannot beat a single Vengevine. Oh, no. I can't even, the play here is now discard Vengevine naturally to hand size. And then get 2 lands in play, return Vengevines that way. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, this isn't actually all that hard to, like, find a way that I can win. It's if my opponent can actually follow up with a threat that it's scary for me. Yeah, so next turn I just get a 4/3 attacker. I can also just draw, like, Ancient Grudge and break this game wide open, too. That, though, is bad for me. Alright. Taiga? I think Taiga, because it casts both lizards. Alright. And I'm going to use my fetch lands first. Grab Bayou for variety, so I can have all 3 of my lands. Ow. 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 Alright. Alright, I don't know how I am supposed to beat the Mold of 5 that has, like, Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1, and Fairy, and Preeminent Captain, and the gas for it, and hitting Captain of the Watch. Alright, opponent, you got your god draw. You got your god draw. You deserve this one. GG's. Okay, looking at my opening hand here, I will cast a Once Upon a Time to sort of smooth out things at the beginning here. I will dump 2 Vengevines to the graveyard, and I will try to return both on turn 2. Now, there's a handful of different ways that this all can come together. I should have a lot of different ways to build that. Okay. Or, alternatively, we can just do everything on turn 1 with Putrid Imp. Fetch, Putrid Imp, discard, Vengevines, swing. Alright. Yeah, that's fine. Here we go. This probably needs to be Badlands. Putrid Imp. Please don't force me. Nice. Discard Vengevine. Discard more other Vengevine. Discard Blazing Root Walla. Cast Blazing Root Walla. Trigger some Vengevines. Please don't endurance me after all this. My poor heart can't take it. God! Fuck! 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 Gah! I'm going to go 0-4 in this league, like playing one of the decks that I know best. That's rough. Just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong this league. Like, I have made some mistakes myself, and I will fully own up to that, but fuck. Alright, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I gotta keep Anji's Ravager and the land so that I can play an Anji's Ravager next turn. No, will not play this one. Fetch this. Grab a Taiga. I just preemptively throw this out there. Probably playing against like a green-white depth deck, given that we're seeing flagstones here. So we're once again against a Merit Lodge matchup, which tend to be rough in the first place. And now that these have access to Endurance, that also just like Newth Graveyard in game 1. Oh. It's just like, oh. Alright. A little unexpected. Is this like a 4-color loam variant? I think I'm just gonna make an Anji's Ravager. I make it now. I make it now. No, actually it could get Prismatic Ending to Thalia attacks. I miss a point of damage if I don't make it now. I'm gonna make it now. I don't know that that's correct. I'm a little confused about what exactly my opponent is playing. Probably figure it out in another turn cycle. But like there's just some chance that this is just a little bit of a wild brew. Some chance that it's 4-color loam. There's some chance that this is just a multicolored hate bears list. And it, well, I guess I should not just auto yield because this could be a lizard. Okay. Thalia is confusing here. Okay. Oh, I wonder if this is like Maverick and this is like a splash color for a prismatic ending or something. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, my opponent does pick up another land. Alright, do I want to cast either one of these cards? I think no. I think in a lot of cases I can just do better with the mana that I get in my second main phase. If the Thalia wasn't here, I would be using this gamble. But it is. Alright. Let's see what I end up with. Oh, those are fine. Not insane, but fine. It's next turn where some of this stuff starts to look pretty good. I think I will cast this. Some weird fringe Vengevine scenarios that can happen where I don't actually want to cast that. But I think I want that. Rude? Rude? God, there's gonna be so much food for that. We are unlikely to beat this deck. Got Endurances and Uros and Scavenging Oozes. I'm just getting interacted with from so many angles. Fuck, the weird Vengevine scenario happened. I guess it doesn't matter because like my opponent would just fucking eat it with Scavenging Ooze. God, my Threshold's also gonna get fucked with too. Alright, so I guess I will discard one of these to Putrid Imp. And I will cast this. Alright, now this flies. I don't think I want to attack in with the little ones. These can attack in. I'm not going to have the black for madness here, unfortunately. And also, unfortunately, I just kind of went into some rough cards. I ended up with another madness card here. I would get to discard and then return the Vengevine in response to that eating. Or at least try to. Fuck. Yeah. Deck is my nightmare. I'm also going to potentially, like, fuel on the graveyard enough where, like, the Scavenging Ooze will just continue to eat. I can't cast that. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. I think this one's over. Go ahead and just, cut out another land here. We'll get Bayou so that I can have the full variety. Pass the turn. I don't see my opponent attacking with the Scavenging Ooze, which is why I'm not just gonna, like, wait so I can have double red available. I think this is just going to be a defensive wall for until my opponent can get the Uro into play. Yep. Well, actually, I guess I don't need to do that pre-combat because it's not going to attack in because my opponent will have a large, stupid creature. So instead, let's just discard this. Cast this. Now that's a flyer. I get 4 in the air. Unfortunately, my opponent can gain back 3 this turn, so I'm really only netting 1 point of damage. Okay. That is an interesting choice in this mana base. That's not a Death Toucher right now. Sure. And then I will floop this into play. Not really doing anything right now. The awkward post-combat Vengevine. But I might be able to make a lethal Alpha Strike in a couple of turns. Like, assuming that Vengevine in one of my 3/3s gets blocked, I'll have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage next turn. That's not quite lethal, because my opponent has so much fucking fuel in the graveyard. But it does mean 2 turns from now, I can potentially just make a lethal Alpha Strike. But the Uro complicates things immensely. The Putrid Imp also only has flying if I discard a card. So that's also a thing that I'm going to have to keep in mind. A lot of things that I would discard are creatures, so Scavenging Ooze math. It's bad. It's just basically bad. Gonna be like a green sun? Yeah. There's a green sun for X equals 2, paying the extra mana for the Thalia attack. Yeah. Still doesn't have Death Touch. Okay. Opponent still does not have mana for their Uro. And this is great for me. I'll discard this. Cast this. My opponent's really at 11 health. They have 3 blockers. That could be like 1, 2, 3. I'm not actually representing lethal this turn, so I'll just take my flying attacks that are safe. My opponent goes to 6. Yeah. I have hope here, which is horrifying. Now I don't think I have hope. Down to 6, up to 9. Have 4 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 point short of theoretical lethal. Assuming no other interaction. Oh. Okay. Sure. Here I was scared of Uro just happening. Guess what a fool I was. Oh, I wonder if my opponent did not have a fetchable blue source from Windswept Heath. I wonder if they have like a tropical island and like a couple of basic islands that Windswept Heath doesn't patch. Oh, that's interesting. He's now Death Touch, which is also rough for me. Okay, there is the prismatic ending Thalia attacks situation that I thought about earlier. I can only deal 3 damage to my opponent this turn as of right now. Yanji's Ravager is attacking no matter what, so things are going to get weird. Do I cast Once Upon a Time? No. My mana is really valuable. I might just need to shove here. Hope my opponent makes some blocks that are favorable for me, or that like my Anji Ravager rolls are high. Otherwise, I just like lose Anji's Ravager and give my opponent an opportunity to draw a land and cast this Uro. The Scavenging Ooze makes this like just shoving so bad. But if I just like lose this Ravager and go down a creature, and then my opponent goes up another creature and gains a bunch of life, I don't know that I win. All right, let's shove and hope that my opponent messes up. I just don't think I am going to beat this Scavenging Ooze long term. Those draws are not going to get me there. So now I'm fully reliant on my opponent just like bungling their blocks. I think will be pretty hard when they have a 6/6 and 2 Death Touchers, but here we are. Like Thalia goes in front of one of these. This goes in front of the Ravager. This probably trades with this. Oh, okay. I pump this here. It's unblocked. Throw this so that we trade. And it leaves me in a pretty bad position, honestly. Just put so much fuel into the graveyard for the Scavenging Ooze. I think I'm just supposed to play that out this turn. Do I play this land? I think I do. I think I play fetch. I don't think it matters too much what I grab here. I grab a new land. I play this out. And my hope next turn is to Faithless Looting into something broken. Like multiple Madness cards, multiple Kitchen Imps, and go for a kill. Ugh. This has been a very mentally taxing league. Yeah, but I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this, like, Uro, Scavenging Ooze, Endurance, Thalia, Prismatic Ending, Icefang Coatl, Renegade Rallier, Value deck. Like, my game 1 answer was, like, just resolve those 2 Vengevines on turn 1, but that didn't happen. Okay. I mean, opponent's deck is not very well suited to actually using an Uro. Oh, cool. Cool. That too. Sure, you should have done that on your turn, though, because, like, now I get a free pump out of this that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten. Not that it matters, because, like, Thalia, but, like, mistakes are mistakes. Okay, for the timing of this Faithless Looting and how I do it, what matters? Oh, actually, because the LED is off, I don't really have options, so I guess I just, like, full-on hardcast this. And now I don't have the option to start a bunch of stuff. Alright, I am going to concede here. This one is far enough gone where I'm not going to come back with all these things that my opponent has going on here. I'm going to save my clock for future games. Now what the fuck am I supposed to do? Leyline, Big Game Hunter, and Firestorm are viable. I think the game where I'm on the play, I'm just going to try to kill my opponent and hope that they don't have Endurance. And the game where I'm on the draw, I think I need to have answers to things. I'm going to board in 3 Firestorms on the play. Maybe the Big Game Hunter. Big Game Hunter doesn't contribute to getting my opponent dead. Not going to board it in on the play. Like, Firestorm just, like, forces things through and gives me more, like, broken turn 1 Vengevine option lines. I'm going to go down 1 Hogak. I'm going to go down the Big Game Hunter. I'm going to go down 1 Cabal Initiate. And I'm going to just try to keep something broken when I'm on the play. And then on the draw, I'm going to adjust my strategy and probably play both Leylines and Big Game Hunter. Okay. I can cast it Once Upon a Time and try to find an Anji's Ravager and then play a turn 1 Anji's Ravager. I don't think this hand is good enough. This hand is likely to do something incredible unless Endurance gets involved, in which case it does nothing. Well, not nothing, but almost nothing. I'm going to keep this and pitch a Faithless Looting. And then I'm going to have, like, the tough choice of, like, which land to get. But I have all 3 colors worth of symbols in my hand. I think it's Bayou. because I think my Faithless Looting is potentially important if I do get Endurance on turn 1. Alright, my opponent kept on their 7, which is terrifying. Alright, so Badlands. Future Dimp. Order matters here. I have to discard Vengevine before anything else. Then I do this. Cast it. That returns the Vengevine, potentially. Yes! Hot damn. I can make this other Vengevine on my opponent's turn. I don't have to use it now. I'll crash in. Alright. I have a lot of power, but bad things can still happen to me. I am going to just opt for this 1 power. I'm not going to try to, like, save this Vengevine to... Or, sorry, I'm not going to try to save this Basking Root Walla to return another Vengevine. I just think this point of damage potentially matters too much. That is how it goes, isn't it? Alright. Loot. Damn it, it would have worked. Would have worked. Still think my line was correct, so I don't regret it. Discard the Vengevine and the Blazing Root Walla. Actually, maybe I should have saved that. I don't know. Like, my plan right now is purely to turn things sideways and kill my opponent. 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I could swing for the fucking fences here. Let's swing for the fucking fences. Purple red. Faithless Looting. Let's find another 0-cost Madness card. We did not succeed. If I had succeeded, I would have gotten another Vengevine. Would have been worth 8 points of damage over 2 turns. I also had the option to just crack this for 2 immediate points of damage. Seems like I'm about to get hit by Swords to Plowshares. Which makes this way less impressive because I only get 3 points of damage this turn. And then, like, a First Striker can come in. Okay. Alright, didn't get Thaliad. I think I don't cast this. I'm gonna send these in. And if there's no blocks, I'm just gonna grow this. My opponent has another Swords of Plowshares, so be it. I think I just need to have them on a 2-turn clock here. Notably, graveyard count is 5 for me. Fuck. That's so bad. I don't have lethal this turn. And my opponent just gets to, like, ramp ahead, and then, like, I am going to just lose my fucking mind. Oh my god. Because my opponent had specifically Uro into Blast Zone, they're going to get me out of lethal range. Double check my math. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can put my opponent to 2, and then I get killed. Ah, damn it. Okay, what if I draw exactly double 1-drop? Then I return Vengevine and I have lethal. Yes. Okay. I don't know how I'm ever supposed to beat this deck. Yep. This is not going to do anything. Oh, God, I'm so fucking close. I'm just so close, and I'm not going to get over the finish line here. I think I keep the Gamble. Gamble can, like, represent another Vengevine or something that allows me to bring that Vengevine back. Ugh. What is that for? I'm about to eat a horrific 3-for-1 off this Blast Zone. Why? That was my contingency plan. Stop it. We're supposed to just be able to go, like, land into that next turn and refuel after the Blast Zone. Like, this is just fucking cruel. Yeah. Oh shit, I'm gonna win. No, wait. No. This is a win if I draw a land. Because I go land, cast a Root Walla, gamble, get a Root Walla, discard it. Alternatively, I could gamble for an LED, try to discard Blazing Root Walla, then try to Faithless Looting into another thing, but I think it's just better to wait. I also could straight up just cast Blazing Root Walla and say, like, put something in the way of this or you die. But I think it's better to try to return the Vengevine. I will probably walk into some new unseen trap. Like, my opponent will just, like, fucking flop down Aethersworn Canonist, and then, like, my plans will be ruined. Life from the Lone Blast Zone. Oh my god. Okay, now it becomes gamble for Anji's Ravager. Okay. Alright. Don't Swords to Plowshares me. Alright. Cast LED. Cast Gamble. Get Anji's Ravager. Cast this. Crack LED for triple red. Cast Anji's Ravager. Return Vengevine. Don't surgical me again. You're at 2. You can't do it. Oh shit. Oh shit. Fetch Ice Fang Coatl. Stabilize at 1. Fuck you. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. God damn it. God damn it. This is infuriating. Trying to make these like 10,000 IQ plays out here. And please concede. Wait, hold up. Why is my Vengevine not dead? My opponent had 3 snow-covered things. This should have had Death Touch. What did I miss? Wait. Yeah, my opponent had 3 snow-covered lands. Am I insane here? Please comment if I am insane here and I am just missing. What the fuck is wrong with you, opponent? How do you expect to turn on these Ice Fang Coatls? Like, is the Field of the Dead variety, like, that good? Like, in your, like, Blast Zone Caracas, Windswept Heath, Savannah. Oh my god. I won this purely due to my opponent's avarice, and they also, like, could not fetch a no land or didn't realize that they needed. Okay. Alright. I guess, again, I'm, like, left with this question of, like, do I actually win a long game versus this opponent? They just have everything. This is beyond a headache. Like, there's just, like, surgicals in here, too. In addition to endurance and all the other stuff. I don't know that I can actually board out any creature. Okay. If I don't beat my opponent as the game goes long, I'm not supposed to play Leyline to beat Uro and Life from Alone. Am I supposed to be playing Cabal Initiate to increase the density of the time that I can just turn to Vengevine off multiple Blazing Root Wallas? Probably. Let's get this back in here. Over, like, 1 Firestorm. Sure? I think sure. No? The 1 land away from being an exceptional hand, but I think it's too risky. And we'll just autofold to an Endurance. Let's mulligan this. Trying to ignore the fact that I get like 3 draws to fix that hand. Ooh. Does this make a turn 1 Hogak? Putrid Imp will discard 1, 2, 3. No, this isn't a turn 1 Hogak. Like, I won't. Okay, if I actually put this into play, so I will have 3 things in play. And I will have 3 things in graveyard. Could be a turn 2 Hogak. How is that? Am I actually going to get 5 cards into play on turn 2? A lot of times I don't, actually. The fetch line will be 1. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan. This produces a turn 1 Vengevine as long as I hit a land with Once Upon a Time, which for comic reasons I won't, but I'm gonna keep this hand. I junk Cabal Initiate here and a Kitchen Imp. Alright, here we go. Okay, I did hit a land. It needs to be the Bayou that I take. I will go Bayou. Oh shit, I started that on my opponent's turn. I probably wanted that anyway. We'll say that I was playing around days. Huh? We'll say that. Oh god. It's gonna be like fucking Bojuka Bog in there too, isn't there? Hello. Hello. Alright. Future Imp. Discard Vengevine. Discard Vengevine. Discard Blazing Root Walla. In response, get Enduranced. Oh my god. Always yes. Always yield. Well, the good news is we didn't get Enduranced. Bad news is everything else. Yeah, I'll use Vengevine's ability. Do I just concede now because my spirit is broken? I feel like the answer is no. But I still could just, like, theoretically win off flyers if Future Imp makes it around the table and allows me to discard this. Now Faithless Looting isn't live. I don't have the ability to pump this. I do have the ability to pump this. Alright, Lizard Friend. Let's go. Life is bad. Life is real bad. This is also just going to transform into a 3-4 in the not too distant future. Oh, yep. All right. Okay. No, this doesn't get to attack anymore. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just play this out, because this is going to be my only way to attack in the short term. The low price of 2 mana a turn. I can attack in through Thalia until my opponent has 2 more lands in graveyard, at which point this isn't viable anymore. Now I will get to just to see what degree of bullshit my opponent has in their deck. Oh, no, I will not get to see that yet. They're going to hold off on that for part of a turn cycle. All right. So my opponent can have Merit Lodge pieces. My opponent can have Blast Zone. My opponent can have Bojuka Bog. They can have all sorts of crazy shit. Regardless, I think this is more or less the point where I concede. Oh, a bit of a weird choice. That is like my opponent has 4 fucking lands in play right now that don't contribute towards casting an Uro. Or no, I guess Savannah contributes towards casting the green sign. 3 in play that don't contribute towards casting one of their primary cards. I am losing my mind. Okay. I guess I'm thinning of land here. I don't know. Like, it's so hard for me to do anything. Yep. The Ice Fang with 1 snow land. It's cool. I'm not upset. Yeah. Alright. You know what? My spirit is broken. We're gonna concede, and I am now 0-4 in this league. I am going to drop. Overall thoughts on the deck list. The deck list itself is fine. That said, holy fuck, the field feels incredibly hostile towards this Madness deck. Like, all these decks having access to both Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending means it's like way less viable to be an aggro deck. And Endurance is popular now as well, more so than previously, meaning that like a lot of your broken graveyard starts don't happen anymore. I don't hate the experimentation that is going on here with things like Cabal Initiate and Big Game Hunter and Hogak. Some of the lines here are a lot smoother because you're not jumping through hoops trying to make Hollow One work. But that said, you also lose out on some of those explosive starts that play around the graveyard hate better. I did not play against a lot of combo, so like, well, not traditional combo, where like the Deafening Silence would have been good. And we're kind of soft in Merit Lodges today. So I'm gonna eat some lunch, I'm gonna get some of my sanity back, and then I'm gonna try to record another video. I hope this was useful for you all. If you enjoyed this or you enjoyed watching my suffering, please click the like button or leave a comment. That sort of stuff helps out a lot. Have a great rest of the day. I'm gonna go cry as I like get some takeout or something.